got an almost brand new looking inside and out Winchester SXP in 12 gauge that I don't know how you make a pump gun that won't cycle, but Winchester managed to figure it out, and we're gonna fix it today, and I'll let you see what's going on. If it sounds like something that will interest you, hang around. Alright, so we're going to start off with this, and we're going to disassemble. No big deal. I'll let you see it's clear. I know I get tired of people on the internet, you know, showing you that it's empty, but I guess they get a lot of funky comments if they don't. Hey, you didn't clear that weapon. We cleared the weapon. Okay. Alright, so what we've got here is a Winchester SXP that will not cycle. The reason why, when the gun was brought to me, I just assumed somebody didn't know how to operate it because, like I say, it looks brand new. But I did notice a little chip out of a part right here. And you see this magazine loading throat? There's a little chip out of that, and I'm not sure if you can see it. I'll put it up here. But this side is broken out. Well, it just so happens that happens to be the piece that holds one of the cartridge release levers. You know, you have an interrupter in there which keeps the when one shell is released, it keeps the other one from coming out. That's called the interrupter. And then you have the shot shell release lever. Well, the shot shell release lever evidently runs down this side, and with this part broken, it lets it extend out past the side of the receiver here, and it will not release a shell. So usually you load the first round, it works just fine because you've loaded the first round. Sometimes it will shoot the second round, but usually by the time you get to the third round, recoil has moved this enough to where it's standing out, and it will not let that cycle. So we're going to fix it today. I ordered the part. The funny thing is, when I figured out what this thing was doing, I searched this particular problem on the internet, and guess what? I read of a guy on one of the forums that has had to replace this 3 times. 3 times. Now I do notice that Winchester has a new part number for this part, and I don't know when, but they've evidently maybe redesigned it a little. But you know what? It's still polymer. It seems like to me, if you're going to sell a shotgun and you find one part is stressing so much that it's causing this much trouble, according to the internet, because when I searched it, it's a common problem. You know, guys, why can't you machine this part out of aluminum or out of metal, or even MIM, you know, metal injection molding? There is no reason for a modern day shotgun that you pay good money for to be breaking. I'm going to fix this today, and I'm going to tell the friend of a friend who I fixed it for that he needs to buy a couple of these. Now the problem is that this, from what I've seen on the internet, this magazine tube is Loctited in with some kind of Loctite, some kind of thread locker. So you have to heat this receiver to get this thing to turn loose. very well may ruin the camouflage on this receiver. I don't know, but I was told to go ahead and do it, so that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to get started. I'm going to go gather up the tools I need, get the clamps that I'm going to use to clamp this thing to the table. We're going to knock out this pin, take out the trigger group, and get to work on this thing. First thing I want you to notice is the clamping. We're clamping this to the table because this receiver is the magazine tube is very, very hard to loosen. Now, we're not trying to put pressure on this thing, we're just trying to keep it from twisting. Another trick I learned, and I'm going to try first before I apply heat. I read about this on a forum. So you can just take like a regular old cheap scope mount, and you can use the mount to twist on and not damage the magazine tube. Well, we're going to try that today. So we've got the cheap scope ring tightened on there pretty good. We're not crushing the mag tube. Everything looks fine and dandy. We've got this clamped down to the table. Like I said, clamping spots that tend to be a little reinforced, so we might be working against ourselves here, but we don't want to bend the receiver. And I think mainly we're just trying to keep it from twisting. I think we're ready to start. I am prepared to get as tough as I need to get. Hopefully I won't need to get that tough. I think with this setup right here, we're going to be okay to get it turning. And I am not going to Loctite it back in place because I got a feeling, just a feeling, that this is something he's going to have to replace from time to time. Okay, a little tough. Try it again. Okay, the scope ring is slipping. I don't know if I can tighten that up some more or not without stripping out the top of the bolts there. No. I got a little bit on there. Let's see. No. It's slipping. Do this in a way I'm not melting my table. See if that helped any. Oh, it did. Look at there. So heating is the trick. I guess I should take that magazine spring out. Probably should have done that before. I may have got his follower a little hot, but I got another follower if he needs one. Now see why it works. It just melts that plastic part. We still in the camera frame? Yeah. Yeah, I believe it's just melting that plastic. Still kind of stiff. I think I'm gonna put a clamp back on here just to help keep that from torquing that receiver too much on that one end. We're looking at the broken part. You can see right here, this little nib is broken off, which allows that shell release to basically drop out of that pocket. So let's look at the new one. There's the new one. There's how it should look. You can see the difference here, maybe. I don't see that it's any beefier, but you know, I'm not an engineer, so. All right, I'm gonna get this back together. Just comparing the two parts, I don't see any difference. I don't know, maybe the revised part was already in the gun. I do know this, it had never been taken off before, because the Cerakote or whatever they use to coat these guns, a little bit of it stuck to the receiver and peeled off the mag tube right there, which is what I was seeing that I thought was plastic tearing off. It was actually the coating for that spot of the barrel. So that had never been broken loose before. So I know that's the original part that came in the gun. Like I said, I'm not gonna Loctite it back. I can see where they had thread locker on here for about very fine threads, but it looks about like 6 threads. They had thread locker on there. I'm not going to do that back. That'll be part of his regular maintenance, just to make sure when he cleans it that he makes sure that that magazine tube is tight by hand. Whenever he takes the barrel off, he can just give it a good shower down. I don't see it working loose during a hunting trip. So I will say that it's disappointing to see Winchester doing something like this and not issuing a recall and not revising the part to be a machined part, or at least an MIM, metal injection molded part. I think it would stand up to a little more. Even a investment cast, aluminum part, it would definitely stand up better, because when polymer polymer and cold don't go together well. And when you camo a shotgun up and you make it to shoot 3-inch magnums and 3.5-inch magnums and such. Now this is a 3-inch gun. You need to assume that they're going to be used in very cold weather, and your plastics need to hold up. Now I do know it's very possible to make polymers that hold up well with their flexibility and their strength in sub-zero temperatures, but evidently that information is not shared among gun makers. I don't know whether that particular firearm that I just held out has a proprietary formula, or if it's just made out of melted down old recycled hair combs. I don't know, but they work. And I just think that they just didn't allow enough beefiness on this little corner here for some repeated banging. And you know, it bangs every time the bolt carrier opens and closes. It puts pressure on the bottom of that shell release, and or on the side of it, and you know that's got to be every time that thing cycles, that thing's taking a lick. So we're gonna get it back together, and I'll let you see it. You don't need to see me put it back together. It's all just a reverse of me taking it apart, and I'll let you see it when I got it all back together. All right, we got it back in running condition. I am so confident that is going to break again. You can see we have the new piece installed, not broken right here. I am so confident that that's going to break again that I won't be test firing this gun. If it's going to break on somebody, it's cold, a little cold outside. If it's going to break on somebody, let it break on the guy that owns the gun. But it's ready to go. Y'all be aware of that when you're picking out a new pump shotgun.